The sun was shining brightly in Beverly Hills. People were walking around enjoying their day. Fancy cars were everywhere, making the city look rich and beautiful. At the Mayfair Porsche car store, a man wearing jeans, a simple t-shirt, and a black baseball cap walked in. He looked around at the cars, but no one paid much attention to him. Inside his office, the owner of the store, Martin Caldwell, was looking at some papers when he noticed the man on the security cameras. He frowned and called one of his workers. "Daniel, go talk to that guy who just walked in." "That guy?" Daniel asked, looking at the screen. "Yes. He doesn't look like someone who can buy a car from us. I don't want to waste my time." Daniel, a tall man in a fancy blue suit, walked over to the visitor. He gave a small, polite smile, but in his eyes he didn't think much of the man. "Welcome to Mayfair Porsche. How can I help you?" Daniel asked in a flat voice. The man looked at the cars carefully before answering. "I want to buy that Porsche 911 Turbo S." Daniel raised his eyebrows in surprise. "That's a very special car," he said. "It costs a lot of money. I don't think you can afford it." The man laughed softly. "I want this one." "Are you sure?" Daniel looked at him up and down. "Because this car isn't cheap." Just then Martin Caldwell, the owner, walked down from his office. He looked very confident, like someone who thought he was important. "Excuse me, sir," Martin said, "but we don't let people drive these cars unless they are serious about buying." The visitor looked at him calmly. "I didn't ask for a test drive." Martin crossed his arms. "Look, friend, I don't want to be rude, but this is a luxury car store. We don't do payment plans or make special deals." The man still looked calm, but now he was a little annoyed. "You think I can't afford it?" Martin let out a short laugh. "Let's be honest. Most people who dress like you don't buy cars from us. Let's not waste time." The man's eyes sparkled with something. It wasn't anger, but it was strong. "I'm going to pay for this car right now." The whole store went silent. Martin and Daniel looked at each other, not believing what they just heard. "Really?" Martin asked, almost laughing. "With a credit card?" The man smiled slightly. "No, with cash." The silence grew heavier. Martin and Daniel stared at him, waiting for him to admit he was joking. But he didn't. "Cash?" Martin asked again, laughing like it was the funniest thing in the world. "Are you telling me you have $200,000 in your pocket?" The man took out his phone and made a quick call. "Bring it." Less than 5 minutes later, a big black SUV pulled up outside. A man wearing a black suit and sunglasses stepped out. He carried a silver briefcase, walked straight to the customer, and handed him the case. Then he stepped back. The customer placed the case on Martin's desk and opened it. Inside were stacks of $100 bills, all neatly arranged. $200,000. "Count it." Martin's eyes widened. Daniel swallowed hard. Who are you?" Martin asked, his voice shaking. The man closed the briefcase and gave a small smile. "Saul Alvarez. But most people know me as Canelo." Martin's face went pale. His mind needed a few seconds to understand the name. When it did, he felt dizzy. "Canelo Alvarez," Daniel whispered, almost like he didn't believe it. Martin couldn't say anything. He had treated a man with disrespect who not only could afford the car but was also one of the richest athletes in the world. It felt like time had stopped. I'm so sorry, Mr. Alvarez," Martin stammered. His forehead was sweating. Canelo didn't say anything right away. He looked at the Porsche, then turned back to Martin. "You know what?" Canelo finally said. "I don't want the car." Martin felt his heart drop. "What?" "No, wait, I don't want to buy from a place where people judge me for how I look." Canelo turned and started walking out, just as calmly as he had walked in. The man in the black suit closed the briefcase and followed him. Martin stood frozen. In just a few minutes he had lost a huge sale. But more than that, he had lost his good name. But the lesson wasn't over yet. Martin was sweating. He watched as Canelo Alvarez, one of the most famous boxers in the world, took his money and walked away. "I don't want the car." Those words felt like a punch to Martin's stomach. He gasped, trying to catch his breath. "No, wait, Mr. Alvarez. Was a mistake." Canelo stopped but didn't turn around right away. He took a deep breath and then walked back until he was standing right in front of Martin. His voice was calm, but every word felt heavy. "A mistake?" he repeated. "Tell me, Martin, if you didn't know who I was, if you didn't know I had money, would you have treated me the same way?" Martin opened his mouth, but no words came out. "You don't have to answer," Canelo said. "Your face already did." The whole store was silent. Employees, customers, and even Daniel stood frozen, watching the moment like a final boxing match. Canelo looked at the Porsche. That car isn't worth more than a person. You know what's sad? It's not that you disrespected me. It's that you probably do this to many people. People who may not have millions but still deserve respect. People who work hard, save money, and dream. Martin felt small. I didn't mean to. Canelo shook his head. Martin, I grew up poor. When I was a kid, I couldn't even afford good shoes. But that didn't make me any less of a person. And let me tell you something. He paused, making sure Martin was listening. Money doesn't make someone important. Respect does. Martin swallowed hard. You shouldn't judge people by their looks, Canelo continued. Because today I was a rich boxer. But tomorrow, it could be a father who saved his whole life to buy his dream car. And without even knowing his story, you would have treated him the same way. Martin felt his whole body go cold with shame. Mr. Alvarez, I'm truly sorry, he whispered. Canelo nodded. I hope you mean it. Because today you lost more than a sale. He turned and walked out. But before leaving, he gave one final lesson without even looking back. Respect is earned, Martin. Not with money, but with humility. That night, the video of what happened spread all over the internet. Thousands of people watched how Canelo taught Martin a lesson in respect. The comments flooded in. This man is a true champion, not just in boxing, but in life. The next morning, Martin woke up with a headache. He checked his phone and saw the news. His car store was famous, but for the wrong reason. Social media was filled with people criticizing him. But the worst part? Some of his best customers canceled their orders. Later, another car store, Beverly Hills Motors, posted a picture of Canelo standing next to a brand new Porsche 911 Turbo S. The caption was simple but powerful. Here, respect comes before the sale. Thank you for your trust, champ. Martin felt his world fall apart. He had lost a sale. But more importantly, he had lost his good name. And from that day on, he learned a lesson he would never forget. Money comes and goes. But respect and kindness last forever. If you enjoyed this story, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories filled with adventure, mystery, and excitement. Your support means the world, and it helps keep these stories coming. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.